Hi, my name's Michael Perry, Staff Sergeant, retired Army. Currently working as a case manager at Camaraderie Foundation, and this is my story. After I graduated high school, I was confused, lacked purpose, and didn't have a direction to go. And after a year, I decided to go into the Air Force. And I spent 7.5 years in the Air Force, went through training as an in-flight refueler. Most of the planes that I refueled in flight are now retired, so that gives you an idea of how old I am. But at the time, I went to 14 different countries, went to 40 out of the 50 states. At the time, I thought that was the best job in the world. And that changed a couple of times throughout my career. I finished my Air Force career and got out of the military, and I was ready to start my life, got married, got a civilian job as a copier technician, and that's what I did for the next 10 years. And after 9/11 happened, I wanted to get back in, do my part. Tried to get back in right away. The Air Force had a backlog, long waiting list. I was actually in, I think it was CompUSA, and I was just randomly complaining, and one of the people in the store, who was an Army recruiter, overheard me, asked me some questions, and got me into the Army. My contract allowed me not to go through basic training. That was one of the requests I had. I went through their initial training to be qualified for a signal operator. I was probably the oldest one in my class by double. I was 40, and the average age in the class was probably 19. So a lot of the I call them kids because I have kids older than they are, but they called me Gramps. Completed the Army training. Interesting how different the branches are. I was walking across the field to get to my class. I was a little bit late, and this Army sergeant came up to me and started yelling at me, told me to get down and do some push-ups, and I didn't know what was happening. So I get down, I start doing push-ups, and how many do I need to do? And he goes, get up. He goes, you're prior service, aren't you? I go, yeah. He goes, let me tell you how the Army works. So that was my initial experience in the Army. Around to the end of 2002, I was assigned to work with Border Patrol. I was in east of Nogales. I had a team of 4 on my hillside. We alternated with another team, 48 hours on, 24 hours off. Or I'm sorry, I got that backwards. 24 hours on, 48 hours off. Did that for about 6 months. And then my unit got our orders to deploy to Iraq. This was actually got my anxiety up. I knew this is why I signed up, and we headed off to New Jersey to start our training. The ride to Kuwait was it was nerve-wracking. The unknown of going into a war zone was difficult. It was strange. We get to Kuwait. We did some more training, and we loaded up and went to our prospective bases. We were signal, so there wasn't any direct combat. We were on different bases throughout Kuwait and Iraq. This was a 12-month tour of duty. We completed that with no incidents. Came back home, and I wanted to do something more. I changed my MOS. That was my job in the military. So I went from signal to military police. Finished up my military police training. Went back on border patrol duty. Did that for another year and a half. Then I volunteered to go with another company that was short of personnel back to Iraq. We went through training for convoy security. Went through 3 months of training, convoy security. We get to Iraq and we're doing detainee operations. So we were working detainee prison camps and detainee transport. So we were doing transporting from one area of operation to another, and then transporting prisoners from that base up to Baghdad, and then returning with more prisoners to bring back to the prison camp. At the first transport operation we had, we were loading the prisoners onto, I believe it was a C-17 big aircraft, 180 prisoners being loaded up onto there. We got attacked by rocket fire. The adrenaline was so high that I didn't feel the danger that I was in at the time. It looked like fireworks going over above us because the defense system was hitting the rockets before they were able to explode on us. We continued loading, and we completed our mission. We had several times stopped by IEDs, potential IEDs. There's a lot of dead animals in the road that the enemy used to plant bombs, and in most cases, people just run over the dead animals. This is one thing that we got used to, just keeping our distance from anything that looked abnormal on the road or on the roadside. We drove quite fast when we drove. Got home from that deployment, and of course, I'm driving fast. I'm swerving, at dead animals in the road. One of my kids spills something on their shirt, and of course, my wife gets mad, because I'm swerving around, and the kid spills something on his shirt. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I just saved their, butts. That could have been a bomb, but that was my mindset when I first returned. I went back to Border Patrol after that for another 6 months. And then I volunteered to go on another deployment with another company that was short of personnel going to Afghanistan. So this was an individual deployment, meaning that I was going over to backfill a position. So I'm going over there by myself, not with a company. This company was already in place. So I'm backfilling a position that they lost. So this time I'm going over as protective security detail for the commanding general. Interesting job, a very interesting job. We drove around in up-armored Suburbans. From the outside, it looks like a regular, black or white around Suburban. But up-armored, bullet-resistant glass, steel plates on the bottom and on the sides. We drove quite a bit all over the countryside, bringing our VIP to the different locations so that he can interact with other high-ranking personnel and the civilian population. So we did this for nearly 15 months. We were attacked a few times. Sometimes the attacks would be really big and make the news, and I would try and, at the soonest available time, to call home and say, you're going to hear something on the news about our area. I'm okay. We're okay. That at the time I thought was the best job in the world, because I have a purpose. I'm, protecting this general, who's going out to make a difference. We ended up driving, probably putting over 5,000 miles driving to different places throughout Afghanistan. Our camp that we were based out of was Camp Phoenix, which is where I was from, which was kind of ironic. Very interesting. I get home from that deployment. Now I'm hyper vigilant. I'm, profiling people. When I go out to restaurants with my wife, I still do that sometimes. And she would hit me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" That's what I did. For 14 months. To protect the general. Was profile people that are around us, make sure that everything's safe. And get us out of positions. When things go south. That all takes a toll on you. And, even though I knew what I was doing was right, it was a good thing we're doing. We're making a difference. I could see it in the villages that we visited. We actually did a humanitarian mission, and we built fuel logs out of shredded paper and sawdust, and the local villages use that for fire, and we put together school needs, for the children of the local villages. So that was another thing that we did that I thought was very very productive. It was outside of the norm what we were doing, but it allowed us to interact with the locals and see that we are making progress. My final year in the military, I was stationed in Bethesda, working with a warrior transition unit. So the soldiers that were assigned to me, and what I was the liaison for them to help them go through medical, help them go through therapy, help them transition back to civilian life, help them return back to the military if that's what they desired to do. All the soldiers that were assigned to me were coming back from combat wounded. They either lost a limb or multiple limbs. And that was probably one of the toughest jobs that I've ever had, but it was definitely the most rewarding job that I've ever had. Helping veterans go through that process, hearing their stories, and helping them along the way. And when I finished that, I wanted to do something for veterans. I didn't know what, but I was out of the military. I went back to my civilian job working as a correction officer. I was volunteering. My wife was a chair for the city commission for disabled veterans. So she had a lot of different times where the whole family could go out and help out veterans and their family members. I couldn't go back to being an MP. I ended up getting surgery on my back. I have 2 titanium discs in my back, and that was from a non-combat related injury from the military. So I couldn't go back to doing police duty. So I had to do something else. I ended up being retrained as a social worker, which brought me to the Camaraderie Foundation. My last year, I was doing an internship. Camaraderie Foundation needed a case manager. I started interning with them. Started doing intake assessments, getting veterans, matched up with counselors, so that is, and I'm currently working there as a case manager, and this is, the best job that I've ever had. Just being able to connect with the veterans. I hear their stories. I know what they're going through, and helping them, get the help they need, through counseling, is very rewarding, and something that this is where I'm going to hang my hat. This is where I'm going to stay until I can't work anymore.